Hi everyone, today's art journal prompt, week 13, is use your scraps. I think some of you have heard me say that I'm accumulating or amassing quite a collection now of scraps. And I'm just looking over now to my shelf, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little boxes full of just bits, collage bits, tiny bits, strips, all kinds of things. Now, my focal image, I want to use butterflies again. These are some butterflies that I think these were from Laura, and I think these were from Jer. Then I've got some butterflies just on brown paper that I think Linda sent me a while back. I've also pulled out some music paper. This is off the label inside my perfume bottle. And then I've got various coordinating colours. Now, because the butterflies that I want to use are sort of like a turquoise and sort of like a lilac-y, mauvey purple colour, I've tried to pull out scraps that tie in with that colour scheme. I am a hoarder of clothing tags, so I pulled out that because the colour was right. There's another one buried under here somewhere, a Q clothing tag, and I quite like the idea of incorporating those. I like this one here because it's sort of got the lilac-y pink on it as well. I've got a piece of fabric that was left over from when I was doing my ATCs. This is from the ribbon that Josie sent me. I can't even remember what this has come off. It was off one of the pieces of Happy Mail that somebody had sent me. I've got a feeling it was on the package of Amy's, but again, the colours tie in. And you can just see the kind of things, just, mop-up paper, all kinds of things, piece of deli paper with some ink splattered on it, some inky tissue paper. I don't know whether you can pick up the mica that's on that one. I just love that. Mop-up tissue towel, some dendritic paint, dendritic print even, a piece of bubble wrap. All kinds of things, more deli paper, and then there's some purples underneath. So I'm focusing on greens and purples, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go off camera and tear up some smaller pieces so that I've got enough collage elements, a piece of William Morris stamp, more ribbon, and then I've just got some pieces of paper underneath here, mop-up pages. That one's got loads of mica on it from when I was spraying the other day. I've got this in the green, this one here, which is just a piece with some leftover modelling paste or gesso. So those are what I'm going to try and incorporate. So I'm going, as I say, going to go off camera now and start tearing up some pieces of paper, and when I've got some pieces that I'm ready to glue down, I shall be back. Right, now I sat down and I tore small pieces off all the scraps that I showed you, and this is what I'm left with. And I'm not going to show you the whole process because it's really time consuming, but it's just a case of positioning things on your page until you end up with a layout that you're happy with, and try and balance it out. For instance, I've got music paper in the top left and bottom right. Then I've got sort of pieces with text sort of in the middle, and then the blues sort of on the top right and bottom left. So it's sort of kind of balanced. But I'm going to go off camera and glue this down, and I'm going to use some modelling paste. Some of these are quite chunky and quite heavy, so I've decided that modelling paste will do the job for this one. Okay, so I've glued everything down and I've trimmed around the edges. And one little tip for you, sometimes when I'm placing collage elements, I lay everything out and I really like how I've positioned everything, and then by the time I come to glue it down, I can't remember my layout, and I glue everything down and I think, oh, I prefer the layout that I had before. Take a photograph of it. I photographed this and then I propped my iPad in front of me so that I could copy the layout that I liked, and I've just overlapped and layered everything so that it looks pleasing to the eye, and then, as I say, I've just trimmed around the edges, and so that's what I'm left with. Now, if I was to use the butterflies now, you can see that they just get lost. This is just too busy. The colours are right, but there's just too much of it. So I've put some gesso just on my glass palette here to my left, and I just want to go over with a bit of gesso just to try and sort of tone things down a bit. And I'm just going to do that freehand. In fact, I'm using a small palette lighter. I was just scraping off some of the bits that I had on the large one. I needed the large one to be able to get to the bottom of my my jar with the gesso in it. And so I'm just going to go focusing around the edges as well, just to sort of, you know, try and blend everything in together. But just really trying to tone this down. I don't want to sort of lose all the lovely pattern that I've got. I just need to tone it down a bit. And there's so much texture going on here. It just feels absolutely lovely. Can you hear sort of all the lovely crunch going on? And this will help sort of, you know, to blend all those edges as well. Still want to be able to see these elements. And I'm going to go off and dry this now. And then, you know, see how it looks, and I can always add some more if needs be. Okay, so this is how I'm looking, and I've put some modelling paste into the leftover gesso on my palette, and I've added some of the iridescent green blue. This is the Pebeo iridescent colours, and some of the Amsterdam in sky blue light. So here's my palette over here, and I just want to add a little bit more texture and interest to my page. So I've grabbed one of my mini stencils. This is the Creative Expressions mini stencil in Harlequin. It's a UK company, and I just really like their mini stencils. So I'm going to add some of this through my stencil, like so. And then I want to come in with a bit more just over here. Because this page is so heavily textured already, it's quite difficult to work. So, oops, we're smudging it, but that's fine. It really doesn't matter. It all adds to the texture. And then I've got another Creative Expression stencil. This one here, I can't remember what this one is called. And this time I'm going to use some of the sky blue light, and I'm going to add just a bit of that. And I'm going to add some down here as well. And I might add a little bit just here too. Why not? So we're going full on texture with this today. There we go. So I'm going to give that a dry. Right, this is how I'm looking so far, and I just feel as if I want to introduce something else. So I've grabbed this Musics stamp. It was on a wooden block, but I didn't want to ever print the whole piece of stamp, so I've peeled the wooden block off so that it's just a bit more random. And I'm just going to add some bits of stamping just in a few of the blanker spots. That looks much better already, you see. Yeah, and I'm happy with that. That looks much better. I just felt that it was just missing just a little something. I think sometimes you just can't put your finger on it, but you just know that it needs just a bit of something else. Now we're nearly there, nearly ready to assemble. I decided I wanted something to mount my butterflies on, and Alex was given a pack of vertical blind samples from the lady who did our curtains. It was when Alex was doing all of his quilting. She gave him various trims and all kinds of things, but I've cut it up into squares, inked around the edges, and I've glued my butterflies on. Now I used my glue gun to glue some wire antenna, and I've just used floristry wire that I've curled at the end, and you can see as well that the butterfly has got a bit of shape to it, and I've just curled the edge of the butterfly around my finger like this, just to give it a bit of dimension, just so that it's not completely flat. So I've done that to all three of the butterflies. So we just need to start assembling. I've also printed off my quote, and today's quote is start where you are, use what you have. Let's have a look and see how I want to do this. Use what you have and do what you can. And that's it for this week's quote. I've inked around the edges of my page as well, so I'm going to have a fiddle around and make sure that I'm happy with the layout. I shall glue these squares on with my glue gun, which is just whoops daisy, heating up to the side of me. It's just about to dribble as well, and then I'll show you at the end and let you know if I've decided to add anything else. And here we are. Here's my finished page. I've just added a few details really. I inked around the edges before I glued it into my journal. I've added some highlights to the texture paste using my Stabilo All pencil, and I used my Wink of Stella silver brush pen here to add some glitter to the butterflies. Here we go. So thanks Jer for those. Sorry Laura, I didn't end up using your butterfly in the end. It just looked better sort of with these 3 butterflies on their own, but I shall be using yours for something else. But I really like the details sort of in the background of this, you know, the butterflies that are on the brown packaging paper, the clothing tag, you can see the perfume label, the postage stamp, the ribbon from Josie, and I just really like how that's turned out. But use your scraps. How can you interpret it? You can use scrap pieces of paper like me. I know that many of you will have leftover pieces that you've been keeping on to, so this is a great way to use them up. You can even make your focal image using scraps. How about a scrap monster? But you could also use an old cardboard box scrap, corrugated cardboard. When you peel off the edge of a piece of cardboard, you've got the corrugated texture, and that is a lovely background to work on. You could use that as your background paper. So really have a think about how you can interpret this prompt. For me, it was because I wanted to use up some of the scraps that I've got sitting around, and I still have a lot more to use up. But I really look forward to seeing how you guys interpret this. If you like what I've created here, please give me a thumbs up and let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm always glad to hear your feedback. And for anybody who would like to join Art Journal Prompts, our Facebook group, I'll leave the link to the Facebook group in the description box below. So take care everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.